Hello, thank you for checking out Mr. Ware's videos, and today we're looking at solving system of equations by elimination. Elimination. So we talked about solving by equations. I'm sorry, by graphing, and we talked about solving by substitution. This is the third video where we're going to solve by elimination. So take a look and see what we got here. So elimination can be used to solve system of equations by adding terms vertically. This will cause one of the variables to be eliminated. It may be necessary to multiply one or both equations by some number to use this method. So previously I talked about when you're doing substitution that it has to be solved for one of the variables, either the x or the y. It has to say y is equal or x is equal, right? And sometimes we manipulated the equation so that it can say x is equal or y is equal. Here, we're looking at some of these where um, they're not in y equal or x equal. They're in standard form. But you don't have to manipulate the equation and plug it in. What you're going to do is add vertically, kind of like adding multi-digit numbers, like 3-digit and 2-digit numbers, and just add vertically to eliminate. Okay? So in this first example, we're looking at 3x plus y is equal to 6, and 5x minus y is equal to 10. You're going to add vertically. 3 plus 5 is 8x, and then y plus negative y is 0. See how that eliminates that? And then 6 plus 10 is 16. Okay? Once you do that, you're going to go ahead and solve for x, then plug it back in to find y. Now, in the second example, we've got 2x plus 5y is equal to 9, and x minus 3y is equal to 10. Okay? You can't just add it and eliminate. So you got to change it. We're going to multiply by negative 2. And the way I do it looks more like distributive property, but I'm going to take that negative 2 and multiply it times the x minus 3y and the negative 2 times the 10. Now that's going to make this 2x be negative 2x, or makes this x negative 2x, so that this can eliminate. And then the rest we just add. So negative 2 times 3y, negative times a negative is a positive, 2 times 3 is 6. Add this vertically. 5 plus 6 is 11. 9 plus a negative 20 is negative 11. The x is eliminating. Now we solve for y, get that answer, plug it back in. Now, that's just doing one of them. But sometimes you have to do two of them. And you got negative 2 times 5, and they picked that one. What they really want to eliminate is the y here. So they want to eliminate the y by multiplying 1 by negative 2 so that you can get negative 6y, and this other one by just 3 so you can get 6y. So this will eliminate. Okay? So it's multiplying by different numbers. You want to get so that you get the same number with the opposite sign, same coefficient, but with opposite signs on either one of the variables, x or y, and then you add vertically, right? And then you're going to have 2x plus 0 equal 26. Divide by 2, get that answer, plug it back in, and then find out what y is. Okay? So let's just take a look at a few examples so we'll see if we can understand it a little bit better. Okay, so let's take a look at the elimination method here. Okay, so here we've got 2x minus y is equal to 20, and 3x plus 2y is equal to negative 19. Now, we can't just add straight up and down and eliminate. None of these are opposite to each other. So, but this 2y and negative y is close. If we could just multiply this by 2, we'll get 2y and negative 2y and positive 2y. So I'm just going to multiply that top equation by 2. Okay, and like I said, you see how it looks like a distributive property. That's how I do it. But we're going to multiply it all the way across, and you're going to have 2 times 2 is 4x, 2 times negative y is negative 2y, and 2 times 20 is 40. And then we're going to just rewrite this same one, and we're going to add vertically. Okay, just adding. So 4 plus 3 is 7, and the 2 y's cancel out what we want to, and 40 minus 19 is 21. So now we're just going to divide by 7, and x is equal to 3. Now that we know that x is equal to 3, we can plug it back in, and we can plug it into either one of these equations we want to plug it back into. Alright, so I picked the first one, plugged it in for the x. 2 times 3 is 6. Bring down the negative y is equal to 20. Trying to get this y by itself, so I subtract 6 on both sides. And 20 minus 6 is going to be 14. Bring down the negative y, divide by negative 1, and y is equal to negative 14. So our point is going to be 3 first, because it's x, minus 14, or negative 14. All right, let's take a look at another one. All right, now this one, we can change it. We can multiply by negative 1 and get this 3x to be negative 3x. But look right here. The 2y and the negative 2y is already opposite. Let's just go ahead and add it like that. So the 2y's cancel out. The 3 and 3 adds up to equal 6x. And the 10 and 14 is 24. Now we're going to isolate the x by dividing by 6. X is equal to 4. Now we're going to have, we can take that x and plug it back into either one of these. And let's see which one I picked. I picked the first one. So I got 3 times 4. And that's going to get us 12. 12 plus 2y is equal to 10. We're going to subtract 12 on both sides. Isolating this 2y. 10 minus 12 is negative 2. Now we're going to divide by positive 2. Negative divided by a positive is a negative. And 2 divided by 2 is 1. So y is equal to negative 1. We got negative 1 and positive 4. And 4, negative 1. Alright, let's look at another one. Alright, here, I can multiply this by negative 2x. And that gives the negative 2 we have. But I try to keep it as small as possible. So I believe I multiplied by negative 1 to change the y again. So I'm going to change the y. And that's going to get us negative x, negative y is equal to negative 12. Just change all the signs there. And this one I rewrote. 2x plus y is equal to 6. Alright, we got negative x plus 2x. And we're just going to add vertically. The y is going to cancel out. So this is going to have a positive 1x. It's equal to negative 6. Negative 12 plus a positive 6 is negative 6. And x is equal to negative 6. Now all we got to do is plug it back in. And we can plug it into either one of these. I picked the first one. Put the negative 6 in here. Negative 6 plus y is equal to 12. And then we're going to have, we're going to subtract y on both sides. Alright, now that we got the negative 6 plugged in, what we're going to do is solve for y. We're going to do the opposite of minus 6, which would be to add 6 on both sides. And then y is equal to 18. And then you got negative 6 and 18. Alright, let's take a look at 4. Alright, go solve each system by elimination. Okay, here, I believe we'll do the y again. We're going to multiply by 2. Here I get 2 times 3, 6x. 2 times negative y is negative 2y. And then 2 times 2 is 4. Now we're going to add up vertically so that the y's cancel out. And that's going to leave us with negative 2x is equal to 8. We're going to divide by negative 2. 8 divided by negative 2 is negative 4. X is equal to negative 4. And then we're going to plug it back in. We can plug it into either one of these x's. Alright, so y times negative 4 minus y is equal to 2. positive times a negative is a negative. 3 times 4 is 12, negative 12. We'll go do the opposite of minus 12 and add 12 on both sides. We got 2 plus 12, which is 14. Divide by negative 1. And positive divided by negative is negative. 14 divided by 1 is negative 14. So our point is negative 4, negative 14. So that is solving a system by elimination. Now keep in mind, if you can't find one where it's easy just to multiply by 1, you have to multiply them by 2 numbers. So here I just multiply by one number. But let's say I was trying to make this 3 and 8 work. Well, I will multiply the top one by 8 and the bottom one by 3. If you use the numbers and flip them around, it comes out every time. You might have big numbers, but it works every time if you just flip it and make sure one of the signs are opposite. Okay, let's see what else we got here. All right, now it talks about solving systems of equations by elimination. The system of equations could be solved by graphing, substitution, or elimination. Now, using graphing, use graphing if both equations are solved for y, and all you got to do, if you want to estimate the solution, you just graph it and see what it crosses. Use substitution if either equation is solved by a variable or has a variable with a coefficient of 1 or negative 1. Alright? And then use elimination if both equations have the same variable with the same or opposite coefficients. What we just get done here. Now, it may be necessary to manipulate your equations to get them to any of these 3 forms above. Alright, let's take a look at a couple examples here where they just go over which one to use. So here you see how it says y is equal to 3 minus x. It's already solved for y. So it's great to use substitution for this. Just go ahead, take this, plug it in for y, solve, and then plug it back in to get the solution. But now, take a look at this one on the right. The equations have the same variable with opposite coefficients, right? This would be great for elimination. You just add vertically and get it. So you got different tools in your toolbox, and you use the right tool for the right job, okay? So here is some practice problems. 5, 6, and 7 here. You can go ahead and pause the video right here and pick what tool you want to use in your toolbox to solve 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, now once you solve for 5, 6, 7, 8, your answer should be 7, 10, 7, negative 18, and 5, negative 2. Okay, and that is it. I want to thank you for checking out Mr. Ware's videos. Have a nice day.